What am I doing, man? What am I doing?
Get out of here!
FM Sting.
Football Manager.
How's it going, everyone? Season 2 for Darlow is done. The National League campaign is over. What happened? We're going to get to what happened, but let's hit the thumbnail, the elephant in the room, the big mistake. The big mistake directly leads to what happened in the league. Now, look at the corner there, at this humongous list. Look at this. Oh, it's still going, it's still going. We're still going. This is the big mistake, folks. This is the big mistake. And what I've preached in the past, so I'm bloody kicking myself for doing it. Basically, bought too many players in at once. Too many players. We started the season really well. Despite starting the season really well, we didn't get many players in off season. I think we got 5 or 6 maybe. And then as things got a bit sticky in the league campaign, we went back into the market and we just thought, we'll get this player in, we'll get this player in. And I just, obviously, I've just got a little carried away. I mean, the list is ridiculous. This is proper amateur hour shit for me. Really upset with myself I was. Too many players. When you get too many players in like that, in a short space of time, your team cohesion and the squad dynamic just squashes. Now saying that, it's not all doom and gloom. It's not all doom and gloom. Remember, we left the last episode top of the league. We won 4 out of 4 and we just smashed Southend 3-0, which was a sick result. You can see the run continued up here. Some great results. That was the game we finished on 3-0. We then beat Eastleigh 2-0, Wrexham 4-0, a 0-0 draw. We're not even conceding goals. We carried on the winning. And then we hit the skids. A good point to remember that is that Darlow are still a semi-pro team. So we don't have any training, whereas some of the teams we're coming up against, such as Chesterfield there, are professionals. So they're always going to have an edge. So we're always punching a bit over our weight. Excuses out the way. We then lost 4 on the spin. So after a great start, we lost 4 on the spin. Then we hustled and hustled to try and get it back. But it was all a bit bitty and stop-starty from there for the entire season, as you can see. Win a couple, lose a couple. Win one, lose one. So we lost a load of momentum. Thus, all them players that we brought in, the team cohesion wasn't there. They weren't gelling. I was making far too many changes. When the end of season stats came out, we were the team that used too many players. Too many players. Temptations there because National League North, Tier 10 upwards, you can basically get players in right the way through the season. There's no restrictions there on non-contract players. So the key message for this episode is don't get too many players in. Don't make the mistake like I did. Led to us having such an inconsistent time. Win one, draw one, win one, draw one. It never got going. It never got going. We ended up finishing the league in 7th. I think it was 7th. Yeah, let's have a little look. So we finished 7th, which got us into the playoffs, but from where we were at the start of that episode, it's a bit of a fall off, isn't it? And the inconsistency, and I keep drilling back to it, too many players brought in, team cohesion all over the spot, too many changes. So we finished 7th, we won 25 games, we only drew 5, so we stayed in the ballpark because we kept winning games. If we turned a few of these losses, these 16 losses here, into draws, we could have potentially got up. But remember, only one goes up in this league, so it's pretty savage. So we scored 78, which is a good amount. Conceded 50, which isn't the end of the world. Went to the playoffs. Drew Yeovil 1-1, lost on penalties. So who knows what might have been, but we clearly weren't ready to get promoted. And I'm quite, in a weird way, happy that we haven't gone up. Because it means I can rectify the damage I did last season onto this season. So into season 3 we go. National League, about to attack it again. Quite happy with that. It gives us time to build the club a bit more rather than rushing through the leagues. Now, media prediction. The infamous media prediction. You remember, start of last season it was 19th. So we're obviously going up a scale now. We're predicted to finish 8th this season, which will be just outside the playoffs. So that's not good enough for us. We need to get in that top 7. First is going to be a bit of a push, considering we are still a semi-professional team there, as you can see. So if we can get into the playoffs, that's going to be a result this season. Now I'm a little way into the season, but I'm going to keep the results and things like that back for the next episode. I have learnt from last season's mistakes. This is the entirety of our transfer in business this season. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 players in, and 3 of those are for the under-23s development team. So basically 5 players brought in. We've shipped quite a few out as well. So we've learnt from that idiotic move for me last season where I got far too many players in. I was like, it's like I was playing supermarket sweep with Dale Winton with football players. I was just picking them, got too many. This time we've trimmed it right down. We've gone for a solid squad of about 23, 24, and that's what we're going to play with. Now tactically we're keeping the 4-4-2. I've made a few little changes to it, just a little tweaks here and there. Because we're starting to dominate possession a lot, we are working the ball into the box now, where previously we weren't. Because we're dominating a lot. I noticed when I was watching the games, a lot of the chances were coming and we're getting our shots blocked from outside the box, or our crosses were getting blocked. So we've decided to work ball into the box and be a bit more patient and dominate play a bit more. So we've started the season. Pre-season friendlies were decent. We introduced a new tactic which I'll show you next. It's going to be an alternative if we're ever losing a game and we need to pull something out of the fire. But yeah, it's going pretty damn well. We've won 2, lost 1. There's a game below I'm going to show you shortly that was just insane, but we'll get to that. But we're solid. What I've noticed is we're a bit more solid in defence, which when I show you this game, you're going to laugh at. But we are more solid in defence. Just need to get the attacking flowing a bit better. Okay, a little insight into the season. This is the game. Dartford 3, Darlow 4. So much for my tight defence, right? But it has been tight other than this one. Now look at this game. We were 3-0 down at half time, playing like a bunch of idiots. Honestly, we were so bad. It brought me to do the old throw the ball. So I threw the ball and I completely changed the formation. We were a right mess. This is the start. Wearing our away kit of bright luminous green, whatever you want to call it. First goal went in. That was in 3 minutes, which was beaten at the near post. Penalty given away after 16 minutes. 2-zip. 42 minutes in. This was where they just got knife through Butter Hill. Look at him. Straight through. Raging. Half time, new formation, water bottle chucked at their heads. Here we go. 45 minutes in, sorry. First attack of the second half. Bang, Gibbo. 3-1 is the right score. 60 minutes, corner. 3-2. 76 minutes, they're just flowing forward, running at them. Souza, 3-3, playing as an inverted winger that time. And then, here we go, 96th minute. We've had 2 disallowed already, bear in mind. Over the top, Gibbo puts it in. Absolute scenes. The water ball actually did the job. This is that backup tactic I was talking about. So you can see how aggressive it is. It's a diamond, but it's a wide diamond. So it means there's not a lot of backup in that central area. So that lad in defensive midfield, Kenko there, it wasn't him in that game, but he's going to have a lot of work to do. Now to back him up in the central there, because I'm relying on my 2 wingers to do the wide work, I've got myself an inverted wing back here. So when we're going forward and we need a bit more muscle in the middle of the park, Denton then comes inside there rather than bombing up and down, because I'm going to rely on Gilmore to provide the width, because it's a more high tempo, get it to the flanks kind of formation. That's why we do it, and that's why we're going to use an inverted wing back. I've done a video on inverted wing back so you can see how they can help your team. They're a risky one, especially in the lower leagues. It's probably a little bit too technical, so we only go to that formation when it's going a little bit tits up. So that's where we'll leave you today on this episode of Earthquake. Key point is the intro. Too many signings, don't do it to yourself, even in the non-leagues. Limit yourself. I need to listen to my own advice that I've preached for years. For some reason, last season, I lost it, man. Well, I lost it and it cost us. We ended up losing our grip at the top of the table and we slid down that league and finished in the playoffs and didn't get through. So we've got another season at least, in the national leagues. There's my little snippet of where we're at this season. Got another episode coming up soon, but Montel Gibson just rolls on. He's played 18 so far, he's scored 16. So if you're out for a striker, that's the man to get. But we've started the season, it's going okay. The next episode will be a proper rundown on where we're at. Play another 10 games or so, then we'll do that. But hope you enjoyed. It's not all shits and giggles down in these non-leagues. It's going to be a lot of ups and downs. We've had our up and down. We're not going to storm straight to this Premier League season by season. There's going to be a few roadblocks, but that's where we like it. It's a challenge.